Hey everyone, Pupsker here. Today in Warframe, we're going to go over the Devstream 163 overview in text laid out by Warframe, because I believe they didn't go quite over everything. They kind of forgot some stuff during the Devstream. More minor stuff, nothing majorly to worry about. And I want to see if this contains more details, more concrete numbers, anything like that. And it's going to be a chill Monday morning video, so grab your coffee, what have you, and let's take a look. They do all housekeeping here, which at this point is irrelevant, but hey, 50th Warframe Styanax trailer, so that's pretty cool. We have Devstream 163, all things Veilbreaker. This Devstream, there are some newer faces on the couch following our TennoCon announcement. Join Rebecca, Creative Director, Megan, Community Director, Gary, Art Director, Greg, Lead Character Artist, and Pablo, Lead Game Designer, as they dive into details on Veilbreaker. Get news on Kahl's Garrison, the AOE weapon change, a huge amount of quality of life changes, some warframes, and much more in our overview below. And Veilbreaker is slated for September, no concrete date as of yet. I know people asked a lot, even though it just said September, but hey, no time, no known date other than just September. So when it comes, and then it'll be a busy time over at twitch.tv/Pupsker and on YouTube. So cheers follow. Warframe bigger picture questions. The streamers primarily focused on everything to do with Veilbreaker, but plenty of Tenno have questions about content that extends past that. Rebecca spoke at that conclusion of this 2-hour marathon dev stream about some bigger picture Warframe topics, which we'll cover quickly before we dive into the Kahl and Styanax hype. Crossplay. We mentioned at TennoCon that we are close to doing some community tests on our crossplay tech, and this is still true. Expect news about those tests hopefully soon. Once crossplay is in comfortable state, we will be turning our focus to cross-save afterwards as we roll out these systems in phases. This is one of our biggest priorities for the team in terms of tech right now, and we are so close. Pog. Raids/trials return. The desire for a return of raid-like content and trials is strong both internally and in the community. We have taken a look at what is needed to bring this content back to the game, but for full transparency, we will not be able to commit to this until 2023, once we have fulfilled our promises for Veilbreaker and the Duveri Paradox. Public test clusters. If you played in 2020, you may be familiar with our efforts to introduce semi-public test cluster weekends, which allowed a small section of the player base to playtest changes before they were released. In the years following, organizing those weekends has become an increasingly difficult challenge as we pivoted to simultaneous platform releases in 2021. These simultaneous releases are a priority to enable crossplay, but are not an excuse to avoid test cluster weekends, simply another logistical hurdle that we must hope to overcome. We value the feedback that we are able to receive from these playtests and hope to have them return in the future, but want to shed some light on their disappearance for those inquiring Tenno. All good to know. That's like the big things that we wish people knew instantly, but hey, they went over it at the end of the dev stream, but luckily they put it in the very top here in text. As you can see, it is a very long dev stream. This will probably end up being a pretty long video, but a lot of it's just video stuff that they show, so hey, maybe not. Update 32 for Veilbreaker. Our next update coming in September 2022 brings a variety of new content, including Veilbreaker Quest, Return of Kahl-175, new Syndicate, Kahl's Garrison, new weekly activities, Archon hunts, and Archon Shards. After completing the short introductory Veilbreaker Quest, players may notice some changes to their drifter camp, with the addition of Kahl-175 and a new friend Chipper setting up their own base. Nice. Playable Kahl-175. Players will be able to return to Kahl gameplay with weekly playable missions that help progress Kahl's narrative and goals. Hog more Kahl story. The more missions you complete, the more will be revealed to you and the more will be unlocked in the Kahl Garrison. Some of the wares found in the Garrison with Chipper include Styanax. So yeah, that's where you will farm Styanax technically, all in this area here. Chipper, cool guy. In true Warframe style, you'll have customization options for Kahl, including a variety of eye patches. Here is an example of those gameplay you can expect in these missions, right? Kahl looks pretty cool. Pew pew pew, shoot shoot shoot, right? Stab stab, wah. Not bad overall. I'll just play these in the background muted, just so you can see what's going on, you know? Archon Hunt and Shards. With Kahl's presence comes new intel about this post-New War world. Each week, the location of an Archon will be revealed to you, which you can hunt down. These missions are intended to be challenging, so select your loadout carefully with enemy level in mind. We've also added some extra modifiers for added impact, such as the removal of self-revives and the addition of a consumable cooldown. So stay near enemies, be careful, play safe. Once you've successfully completed all 3 missions and taken down an Archon, you'll be rewarded with an Archon Shard, which has its own uses. Each Archon gives a different color of shard, with a 20% chance of Tau Forged version, which has an extra oomph to it. These Archon Shards can be installed into your Warframe using the Helminth menu to offer permanent stat upgrades of your choice. These shards can be removed from your Warframe at the cost of Helminth resources and be reused as desired, meaning they are not destroyed upon removal. Each type of Archon Shard offers a variety array of stat bonuses from you to choose from. Azure Boreal equals defensive, Crimson Amar equal offensive, Amber Naira equal utility, Pog, Tau Forged equal stronger. Players will have 5 Archon Shard slots per frame to install and play around with. You will be able to earn these of shards via weekly Archon hunts and also from Kahl's Garrison. New Warframe Styanax. Yeah, Styanax is looking mighty fine if I do say so myself. We're officially at the 50th Warframe mark. Pretty crazy, right? 9 years of Warframe, 50th Warframe, almost 10 whole years. Next year's gonna be a big one. Introducing Styanax. You may have seen this concept art at TennoCon earlier this year, but now we're showing him in action. To celebrate this milestone, Styanax will be available for free to play. Whoa! For free to players who log in 2 weeks following Veilbreaker's launch. Yeah, we already knew this because we went over it all before, but that's okay. Expect full details once we have a release date. With that said, let's take a look at his kit. He has a cool spear gun. Sadly, they never really went over that on TennoCon, but that's okay because they go over everything here. Passive, increased crit chance on weapons based on current shield value. Overshield, more crit, Pog. Ability 1, Axios Javelin. Call upon the Axios Javelin. Any enemy Styanax strikes with his Javelin is pushed back. When the Javelin propels an enemy into a wall, a vortex pulls other nearby enemies. Okay, some CC and some damage. Nice. Ability 2, Theros Strike. Summon Theros, the Shield of Styanax. Switching Theros at enemies to push them back and reduce their shields and armor. Styanax regenerates health for every enemy struck. Okay, pretty good, cool. This is Styanax's Helminth ability, his second one, Shield, Pog. Ability 3, Rally Point. Draw enemy attention to Styanax. His resolve uplifts nearby allies, regenerating their energy and shields. Shield regeneration increases with the number of enemies near Styanax. Overall, kit not too bad. Ability 4, Exude, Might and Valor. Rise into the air and throw a barrage of spears. The spears deal damage to nearby enemies wherever they land. Direct hits to enemies deal greater damage. And, overall, that's pretty good, I like that he has a good defensive and offensive abilities overall, and his passive's just like, hey, crit based on shield. Protea and him would be good buddies. Okay, let me tell you that. Alt helmets, signature weapon, and Prex cards. Yeah, these are the helmets. I like this one more, for sure. Looks more of like a bug. You can see like little pincers up there. 100% looks more bug-like, okay? Without a doubt. I like it. His signature weapon is the Aphentis. Aphentist, speak soft and carry a big stick. Giggity, you know. Styanax's signature primary stuns nearby enemies when thrown at a target and provides a buff to teammates standing near it. Killing enemies within the aura maintains the buff for a time upon leaving. He is also coming with his own Livarian and Prex card. Looking nice for sure. Protea Deluxe skin. Yeah, we get ya girl Protea Deluxe skin. I'm gonna definitely buy this because it's honestly just such a beautiful skin. No big shock there. Also in Veilbreaker comes the long-awaited Protea Caladrius skin designed by the incredible community artist Asterisk. Nice indeed. I really like the two colored sides of the feathers and how the feather tech has apparently been upgraded to look better. I mean, it does. Some good feathers, look at that. I like the random coloring. It makes everything more interesting for sure. And that's a really good white coloring. And like green on the neck. Looks cool too. 10 out of 10, wood Protea again. You'll know I will always drop money for Protea skins. It is my curse. She will also be coming with a matching Dakrator Tonkor skin and Monetivis Throwing Bomb skin. Hopefully I said those somewhat right. New Voidshell Skins. Now these are going to be hype. We're expanding our Voidshell skin collection with new skins coming for the following Warframes: Excalibur, Wukong, Nova, and Styanax. Makes sense, okay, all pretty popular. Wukong, Excalibur. I don't know how popular Nova is these days, but I mean, Nova's still pretty good with a couple abilities for sure. Speed Nova and Slow Nova are both good and very useful. Styanax is going to be the new frame, so it just makes sense every new frame comes with a Voidshell skin, if possible, right? If they, I assume, want to have a Voidshell skin for every single Warframe in due time, yeah, makes sense. We are also introducing new materials for Voidshell lovers to play around with. God, you know I love me some Voidshell and terrible, terrible skin, so God, I need to make some fashion frame videos for everyone soon enough. Hopefully I'll like that. If not, I'm so sorry, as I am fashion tone deaf, as you can see sometimes, but that's fine. We're also adding a new Fog of War ephemera, which you can see alongside the Nova Voidshell here. Yep, it looked cool. Cool ephemera. It goes burr, I guess. AOE Changes. Okay, before we delve deeper, a quick note. With the large amount of content that has been touched on in this update, AOE changes, mod changes, Warframe changes, etc., Tenno can expect compensation to help them reform a content and more in the update when it releases. Full details will be available upon launch. Okay, so there's gonna be a little kickback for items, so not too bad, not too bad. I'm not mad at that. I honestly didn't expect nor care to get anything, but I'm not mad that we are getting stuff, because I expect Warframe to constantly update, and I find it kind of funny that they constantly give compensation when they like generally mega nerf things. Like when Railjack happened, I get it, but yeah, this is surprising, but nice. Area of effect weapons are a pretty dominant aspect of Warframe gameplay, especially affected by the removal of self-damage a few years ago. We want AOE weapons to feel impactful, but we feel their current state needs adjustment. Before we get into what, let's talk about why we changed things. In this case, there are 3 core reasons. Number 1, can this be automated? Currently, some explosive weapons and playstyles remove the need to aim or otherwise care about your surroundings. This doesn't fit the automated category perfectly, but we want such impactful weapons to require more consideration and tactful decisions making than currently exists. Here are some extreme examples of AOE gameplay. While they may not be how you personally play, these are instances of gameplay we want to move away from. And of course, there's always like styles of gameplay where you can just sit in a wall and just run around aimlessly destroying, depending on what type of CC frame you want to do and play with, etc., etc. But you know, they're just trying to remove like complete brain deadedness in just automated blah, I'm not playing the game type playstyle. But of course, everyone will find a way to like just be lazy here and there, no matter what. It's not a huge issue, but it's just weird with the amount it's happening now with AOE type stuff, right? So yeah. Number 2, is this overly dominant? Warframe is a game full of very powerful tactics, but problems arise when players feel forced to use specific choices. The top 5 most popular weapons are all AOE, accounting for 47% of all weapon uses at high mastery rank AOE usage stats. Which is hilarious. All high master ranks just AOE fest because AOE murders for good reason. In situations where efficiency is important, some would say you aren't playing correctly if you're not utilizing these choices, which some players don't necessarily find fun. Yeah, you can always just throw in a Warframe AOE weapon or a nuke frame. People just always choose AOE weapons so they can just fire and destroy everything. Makes sense. In this, playstyle disrupted 2 other players. Okay, interesting. A majority of sessions are played co-op, so ideally everybody gets a chance to play. We've reached a point where players are asking us to change these weapons because they leave so little for others to do. With our motivations clear, let's get into specifics. We approach this change in a multitude of ways. Ammo pickup changes, okay. Radial damage headshots removal and new headshot multiplier buff, okay. Headshots go burr, headshot goes burr. That'll definitely help a lot with headshot arcanes and mods and whatnot, so I wonder if headshot meta will be a new fun one, but we'll see. Primed Fulmination and Primed Firestorm rebalancing. pretty much just reduced AoE range. Makes sense. Now, ammo pickup changes. We understand the power fantasy of these weapons is very popular for some, so our first approach was to keep them powerful, but limit how often they can be used. For starters, we're making sweeping changes to ammo drops, for sure. And I kind of like this. It's cool. It's minor, big, but cool. It's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Pistol, rifle, shotgun, sniper/bow, and heavy ammo drops have been simplified into 3 ammo types: primary, secondary, and heavy. Okay, there's a third. I thought they just were talking about like primary and secondary during the dev stream. Maybe I missed when they were talking about heavy, but that's cool. Ammo drop rates have been halved, but the amount of ammo received has been doubled. This means weapons with a high ammo maximum will remain mostly unaffected, but those with smaller ammo pools may have to be used more tactically. Okay. Certain weapons will have override values, changing how much ammo you can get from a single pickup, so you can't like max ammo pick up 200 ammo on like an Exceltra with a arcane that doubles the ammo amount, right? Because that's the current situation with my Exceltra, I think. Yeah, I don't mind. This is great. This mostly applies to AoE weapons in hopes that players will become more deliberate with their aim to take most of their ammo pools. Expect more details in our patch notes. Tend to play a mix between primary and meleeing around, and then using my secondary here and there, depending on what I have on. So honestly, none of these buffs, changes, nerfs, what have you, will affect me personally, but I'm kind of curious how many people hate it, or will it really affect, you think? So yeah, let me know. I'm kind of curious. With these changes to ammo, we have buffed holstering speeds to make ammo swaps faster as well. This is honestly just a sick change. Holstering speeds now are more than doubled. Okay, it's now 316 milliseconds compared to old 800. And I agree with this. It always felt slow to change weapons, especially because you can instantaneously melee from any weapon. So yeah. Huge change. And I think some mods and builds here and there can rely on you swapping weapons, as that's more of a prevalent type of mod archetype these days, or, you know, comparatively to back in the day. So nice, 10 out of 10, I love it. Existing holster speed mods will be adjusted, but no specifics were offered at this time. Okay. Headshot damage changes. We've revisited certain AoE weapon ability to headshot, making it so radial damage will no longer gain extra headshot damage or trigger headshot conditions. This is primarily targeted at the Ignis Wraith. As a flamethrower weapon, it's hard to imagine a blanket of elements being precise enough to target weak points specifically. Explosive projectiles themselves can still land headshots, so there's still a reason to aim with most weapons for maximum damage. Yeah, like the projectile still does headshot damage, it's just the radial explosion does not, which I think makes sense, you know? It's fine. Furthermore, we've increased the base damage multiplier on headshots from 2x to 3x. This means precision weapons are more rewarded for skillful usage, leveling the playing field even further. So headshots, even with like now the mods and arcanes and whatnot, might be a really strong way to hit high damage numbers. And yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, Warframe is still a brain dead game if you want it to be. Okay, let's be real. You can still use AOE Warframes, AOE weapons, and just murder everything, especially when running fast relics. This just means things are changed around for the most part. But yeah, let me know if you hate it or love it. I was seeing a lot of people after the dev stream being like, oh, people are gonna think the Ignis Wraith is OP now, and then this line they throw in, this is primarily targeted at the Ignis Wraith as a flamethrower weapon. So no, Ignis Wraith is definitely an AoE type flamethrower weapon, okay, so it's definitely getting hit. I love that they specifically targeted out the Ignis Wraith, because I was seeing people think it was gonna be immune. It's not, so that's cool. Finally, we're changing, with mod rebalancing and changes, the effects on a few specific mods that increase explosive radius. The mods Prime Firestorm and Prime Fulmination both offer a 66% increase in explosive radius, insane, which is being reduced to 44%, still pretty good, matching the increase offered by other Prime mods. Prime mods traditionally offer around double the value of base mods, but these two offer triple value. This change is reflective of the Prime mod standard. Additionally, we were reviewing mods, a few others were touched on as well. Amalgam Furix, a bodies counts bonus is being changed to increase secondary fire rate, okay? Tactical Pump is being increased to 60% reload speed. Reach is being increased to 1.5 plus range. Oh, so are you trying to say that like regular reach is now 1.5 and then primed reach is just 3? Okay, cool. That doesn't change primed reach, so I guess that helps out early game players more. That's nice. Future considerations. This AOE discussion on stream was very lengthy and concluded in a conversation about other changes we considered, but are not slated for Veilbreaker. We will be monitoring a community feedback and the general rollout of the above AOE rebalancing to see if we will continue with these. Sure-footed and primed sure-footed. These mods were originally meant to negate enemy knockdowns, but found expanded purpose when we replaced self-damage with self-stagger and knockdown. We may eventually return these mods to their original purpose by limiting knockdown resistance to enemies only. Alternatively, we are considering having the primed versions only reduce the intensity of self-stagger, reintroducing some amount of risk to close-range explosives. Again, these changes are not happening at this time, but were discussed on stream as possibilities in the future. Line of sight, this was a big one people love talking about. The next involved AOE weapons ignoring line of sight. Right now, you can shoot enemies on the other side of walls and floors using large radial blasts. We have tested a change where only enemies close to the source of the explosion would be affected by the attack. That means if you shot a coup de Braum at a wall with enemies behind it, only enemies within a certain range of the point of impact would be damaged. Once again, this change is not in Veilbreaker. We will continue observing player behavior and make future changes accordingly. Ammo drop changes. We mentioned the possibility of making enemies killed by AOE weapons exclusively not drop ammo for that weapon type. This just does seem kind of dumb, to be honest, as like an idea. I don't know if I agree with this one. So Brahma kills would not drop primary ammo, thereby incentivizing you to use your full kit. Should the current ammo changes not be significant enough in impact, we'll consider this system in the future as well. Now this seems like a little too forced, you know? It seems a little goofy. I don't know about that one. Okay, I don't know about that one. Seems a little silly. A little silly goose, but hey, we'll see. Steel Path Fissures. This one's awesome, having Steel Path Void Fissures. With this overall consideration of healthier gameplay and ensuring players of multiple skill levels can enjoy the co-op experience, we are looking to offer alternatives to Tenno who want to pit their loadouts against more challenging content. That's why we're working on Steel Path Fissures. These high-level fissures have the usual Steel Path modifiers and acolytes, with an additional reward of Steel Essence for relics you open. Pog 1 Steel Essence per relic opened. Quality of life changes. Warframe Kit Changes. I think this just says all the stuff here. Anyways, Warframe Kit Changes. As mentioned during TennoCon, we are revising our starter frames to offer general improvements to their kits and make them new player friendly. We won't go into the nitty gritty of stat changes, but Pablo did do a pass on many abilities with the same mindset of our arcane tweaks. In short, instead of ability stats scaling per rank, certain ability stats will now be at maximum value regardless of rank to ensure a more consistent gameplay experience. As Pablo said, we're raising the floor but keeping the ceiling in place. Expect full details in the patch notes. So for Excalibur, Slash Dash, the dash speed is increased, added a slash proc to his hit, added ability cancel by jumping. Okay, cool, overall nice. Radial Javelin, removed enemy cap. Nice. We've also added some animation polish, including making the javelins larger and ensuring they aim closer to your foe's chest. Also, cool. Volt Shock, reduced casting cost from 25 to 15. Okay. Dark Sidious now is a lot more efficient. Changed ability range to be the maximum across all ranks. Oh, nice. Speed, slightly increased speed buff. That's right. Speed on Volt, now Gauss. Gauss, Volt, same Warframe? Question mark. Volt is going to be even better now for Eidolon hunts, so people rejoice. Slightly increased duration, and the duration is unified across all ranks. I'm happy about that. It was always annoying that I usually run like high duration Volt because, let's be honest, it's just kind of annoying rebuffing speed every 20 seconds or what have you. So, hey, this is nice. Shield. Note all changes are for the carrying mechanic. Remove speed reduction. Nice. Removed energy drain. Nice. Removed secondary weapon restriction. So, yeah, you can just shoot and use your primary with your shield now and run around, no energy drain. So it's now a proper run around with you shield, because it took away the energy drain and you can use primaries. So you can just have it with you. So I think that's a huge buff to that ability that actually is massive massive for Eidolon hunters if you think about it. So I think that's great, and Volt overall, quality of life wise and just usability, goes up a lot with these changes for sure. And he wasn't even bad before, so this is crazy. Discharge, change ability range to be the maximum across all ranks. Okay, cool. Now for Mag, which I see her played, I think, the least out of all 3 of the Warframe starter frames. I think she's the least liked, but that just might be me being crazy, to be fair, so ignore that one, but I just feel like I see her the least. Anyways, Mag Pull creates a mini vortex in front of, so enemies are pulled directly in front of you instead of them ragdolling past you. The Helminth version of this ability was tweaked slightly for balancing. Pulls polarize shards towards you, those like little green shards you see around here in this context. Magnetize, shards from polarize are pulled into magnetized bubble. Shards from orbiting mag are pulled into the magnetized bubble. Cool. Polarize, shards are significantly larger and hover above the ground, make them much easier to send and make use of. Shards within 3 meters of mag orbit her, dealing damage to nearby enemies. So they're just damage shards. It's nice. I think this helps a lot. Since these changes have more of a visual aspect, here are they in action. Here they are. I can't talk, okay? It's a little late. Probably shouldn't record this so late, but I've been spending all day with my dog and girlfriend, so I've had a busy day. My dog is sleeping right now, so huzzah! Wukong Celestial Twin Changes. The boy is getting his legs broken, everybody. That's right, Wukong is being a little crippled, but in a way that'll still make him good, so it won't really matter for a lot of people. Only for the people who just kind of will rely on the brain deadness of a straight up Autobot, aimbot, AI Wukong. Okay, let's go over it. Wukong Celestial Twin Changes. Following the mindset we applied to the AOE rebalancing, we are making some changes to Wukong's kit focused mostly on Celestial Twin. Celestial Twin Changes. Celestial Twin damage is halved, wrecked. Marking enemies with your ability key will still offer increased damage against their target. So I think this means that just like Celestial Twin will have the same damage as you, because currently it has a 2x damage multiplier. And this is saying if you mark enemies, that will make the Celestial Twin attack them, because that's how the AI works. It'll offer that 2x damage buff, which I do think makes sense. Add gameplay mechanic to get the increased damage buff. If not, already insane having an AI auto aimbot that is you. So I agree. Yeah, this makes sense. Celestial Twin is vulnerable to self-stagger from its own weapon. As your twin shares your Wukong's mods, this can be bypassed by adjusting your loadout accordingly if you wish. I mean, that just makes sense. So I agree there. Celestial Twin will properly use the ammunition of your weapon when firing and collect ammo on its own when appropriate. So that's right, you need to get ammo. That's what they were talking about earlier. I also think this makes sense and agree with all of this. I think it's pretty cool. I'm fine with them nerfing the like insanely most used Warframe by an abysmally high amount. Like, it's not even up for debate how overly used Wukong is comparative to others. When you saw that graph of him just being like leagues of his own, twice or like 3 times as played as the second most played Warframe is bonkers, okay? And it just makes sense. And this is just their example of brain deaded playing, right? You go throw down your Wukong, you equipped your melee so he'll shoot with his primary, and then you just like eat yourself or just, you know, bite your hand. You just go like, just go crazy, right? Literally, you're just shooting darts at the wall for some reason. I don't know what people do at their house. Apparently, I think everyone has mental breakdowns, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. Okay, as always, we will be keeping tabs on player feedbacks once this launches, so please do share your experiences with us once Veilbreaker is released. Oh, this will be a really long video, huh? Oh well, we're almost done, everybody, so if you reach this magical mark wherever we are in the video, I do appreciate it, and throw down the secret sentence in the comment section. Ruben is a very good boy with a very fluffy butt, as that is true. So yeah, if you want to, compliment Ruben's fluffy butt in the comment section down below if you reach it here. And that was mainly for the memes, so I do appreciate it, y'all. Cheers. Revenant Mesmer Skin changes. Whoa! The addition of Overguard has affected the efficiency of Mesmer Skin, as rapid-fire overguarded enemies would melt through their Mesmer Skin and remain unaffected by the incoming sleep effect. Absolutely wrecked Revenant. To bring this ability closer to its original intention, Mesmer Skin will now grant 1 second of invulnerability after a charge and consumed. This gives players time to react to these powerful units before taking their full damage. Yeah, so Revenant is still like a brain dead tank that you just have to make sure you reapply Mesmer Skin. Really fun for a lot of people, and he has just a really good skill set, so I mean, it's nice that they made sure he isn't dog shit with his Mesmer Skin like that, and just kind of upgraded there. He's still he was already really good, so even with them buffing this up again so he's not getting melted through, I think he was even still good before, but it's nice they did this. I've never played like high level Revenant to like 9999, so that's probably once you start getting higher levels where he gets melted instantly more because of this, so makes sense, probably. So cool. 10 out of 10. Syndicate Pledges. Now, this I think is a great quality of life change, and it makes me smile, okay? We have removed reputation earnings from Syndicate sigils and have added the ability to pledge to a specific syndicate via the Syndicate console. You can easily swap which syndicate you earn reputation with as you wish. This is going to be making it so that you can much more easily collect like 3 syndicates at once, okay? So this is actually more of a possibility now. It was just a huge pain in the butt before, because I'm not changing out sigils on my Warframes 24/7, especially when I use a ton of different Warframes sometimes. No, that just made me sad. So this makes me smile with the heat of 1,000 suns, okay? It is awesome. Everything is awesome, okay, as the little Lego people say. Syndicate sigils are now cosmetic only, and the percentage of standing you earn is now based on the rank you achieved within that syndicate. Example, rank 5 would have 15%, same as the top tier sigil. Pog, percent based is now rank based. So if the syndicate thinks you're hot shit and you're rank 4, 5, you'll get a lot. If they think you're a fucking loser, rank 1, of course, rank 0 maybe, you'll get almost not a lot. So I cry, but it's still great, 10 out of 10. Now, armor stripping changes. Nice. Okay, let's go. Armor stripping is a very common tactic for many Tenno, and plenty of Warframes have armor stripping built into their kits. The majority of armor stripping abilities strip armor from the existing armor pool versus the total armor value. For example, if you use a 50% armor strip ability against a foe with 100 armor twice, you'd reduce their pool to 50 armor on their first cast, and then to 25 armor on the second cast. Example, taking 50% of 50 equals 25. Yeah, so it based on the value it has at the time you're casting the ability, right? We are changing how all armor strip abilities work so that they take percentage from the total armor value instead, meaning 2 casts of a 50% armor strip ability will now reduce their armor to 0%. This overall is a buff to armor stripping in every way, so it's good. Some abilities with this mechanic are getting a buff. Pablo did not have a list of specifics, but he did mention that Banshee's Sonic Fracture Augment will now have permanent armor reduction instead of being duration based. Expect more details in patch notes. So along with just armor stripping being buffed in general by this change, they're also just buffing some armor stripping abilities for Warframes. So overall, nice. It's a good buff to armor stripping. I mean, I don't see why this was necessary, but it's not necessary. I think it's a good change overall because, you know, more armor stripping makes the math a little simpler for most people to do, right? If it takes it off the total instead of changing and then making this annoying. So now it's a lot easier for 0% armor enemies, right, to be created and then murdered using abilities. That was a weird sentence and everything, but that's okay. I stand by it. It's good. I like it. Thanks, DE. I overall think this is a really good update for DE. I like the nerfs. I think they make sense. I like the buffs. I think they make sense. Even if they came out of nowhere like that last one, I still think it's really cool. Same with this Riven system change. I think it's really good for a certain subset of players, not like me specifically, because I don't think I'm yet maxed out on Rivens. I'm getting close, but not yet. But some people are. Now, Riven system changes. As mentioned in Devstream 162, we are making changes to newly obtained Veiled Rivens to increase the amount of Rivens that players can own without needing to purchase more slots. In short, Rivens will have 3 states. Veiled, all new Rivens obtained via rewards, Palado, etc. are veiled, but the definition of this type of Riven is changing. These Rivens are stackable and will not take up Riven slots, but they do not display any details about the Riven challenge itself and cannot be equipped to weapons in this state. Sealed, this is what current build veiled Rivens are now. They take up slots, they can be equipped to a weapon with the goal of unlocking them, and you are aware of the Riven challenge needed to unlock it. Unveiled. These are the Rivens whose challenges have been completed and whose stats have been revealed. You can see the stats and invest Kuva in them to reroll. So it's pretty much just adding a first state. Cool. So that you can stack more. I think for this one it'd be like veiled shotgun, veiled rifle, veiled melee, and then you put it on the melee and then it becomes like this melee Riven. But we'll see how OP that may be, right? You throw it on a melee, it gains a challenge, and then it unlocks it. Boom. Same really as before, so nothing too bad. Nothing too bad, right? You throw the Zaw Riven mod onto a Zaw, it gets the challenge, complete the challenge, and then it lets you know what the buff is for whatever type of Zaw or melee, if it was a melee Riven mod, right? Riven. So the core system of Rivens remains unchanged, but this new stackable type of Riven is aimed to remove the pressure to purchase that can come when players have filled up the Riven slots and want to play modes like sorties, etc. Existing veiled, soon-to-be sealed Rivens, i.e. those with challenges listed, will continue to take up slots once this change launches. Only new Rivens obtained after the update will be stackable. So yeah, complete your challenges if you want, and unlock your Rivens if you want. Finally, other notes and quality of life changes. Modular equipment, Zaws, amps, etc. will now have final gilded stats upon being built. Gilding a weapon will now allow players to achieve mastery on it, but the improved stats originally locked behind gilding will now be immediately available upon weapon creation. Part 2 of our augment refresh is coming for Warframes from left to right. Loki fans to Rhino fans and everyone in between, rejoice. Nice, my boy Rhino. Getting that update with the augments. Can't be mad at that, to be honest. The teleport time between zones in the Drifter Cant has been significantly reduced. Hopefully if I dash roll into it, it doesn't ruin me. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Zaku Deluxe is slated possibly, probably, maybe for the end of the year. Yeah, no, that was a possibly, probably, maybe. So, rude. Last gas meter now starts at 0% instead of 50%. But there's no initial drain. Instead, drain will set in after a few seconds of not getting any kills. Each kill now fills the meter by 1/3. Xmas kills refill the meter instantly. Sick update overall. Can't wait for it to come. Gonna be a long patch note read if I do that, as this was 38 minutes unedited so far. So we'll see how long the final video is. So the teleport time between zones in the Drifter Camp being significantly reduced is cool, but if I can still do this, and then it's still like, teleports me? Oh no, they did fix that. It used to be a bug where you couldn't roll into this, but it looks like they fixed that. Okay, never mind. I'm happy about this. Thanks to E. So it looks like the teleport time here, it's about a second. Maybe it'll be like 300 milliseconds or like half a second. So that'll be cool. Either way, that's it for this little Devstream 163 like text recap video. I wanted to have one where I like more one by one, line by line, went over the text breakdown because those will be more detailed than me yelling at clouds like I like to do when the first dev recap video comes out. So thank you all for watching if you made it this far. I do appreciate it. More Warframe videos as always to come. I'm probably gonna also be playing randomly Genshin Impact, so expect random Genshin Impact videos, as well as a bunch of random Tower Fantasy videos whenever I feel like playing those and making videos for those, as those are kind of the 3 games I'm playing right now, just because I want to catch up on both of them and one just came out, right? So yeah, follow me on Twitch, follow the socials. I appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.